In this video, we're going to focus more on how to draw Lewis dot diagrams. So here we have a Bohr-Rutherford diagram for chlorine. As you can see, we have the protons and neutrons in the nucleus, and all the electrons in their respective shells, with 2 on the first, 8 on the second, and we have 7 on the last, but you could have up to 8, but chlorine doesn't have 8 electrons, it only has 7 on the last shell, set for 7 valence electrons. Now, there's a simpler way to represent atoms, and we can do that using what's called Lewis dot diagrams. Lewis dot diagrams only represent the valence electrons of an atom because they're the ones that are responsible for the bonding that we're going to learn about in more details this year. So as you can see, all the inner stuff, the stuff that's not valence, is replaced by the symbol. So all of this stuff over here has been replaced by the symbol, and then we simply put the valence electrons around that symbol. So let's go into a few examples of Lewis dot diagrams. So we're going to do an example for chlorine. So it was already done in the previous slide, but just to show you how I would go about drawing it. I would draw the symbol for chlorine first. I would find what group chlorine is in. It's in group 17. Let's go back to our periodic table to take a look at that to make sure it's correct. So chlorine right here, group 17, which means it has 7 valence electrons. So we're going to go ahead and place our electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I started at the top, went around clockwise, then came back to pair clockwise until I was done placing. And this is my Lewis dot diagram for chlorine, 7 valence electrons. So let's go ahead and do the same thing, but this time for sodium. Sodium, we'll write our symbol down, Na. Let's go take a look at what group it's in. Sodium is in group 1, so that means it has 1 valence electron. So all we have to do is put 1 dot there, and there's our Lewis dot diagram for sodium. Let's try this for magnesium. Magnesium, the symbol is Mg. Let's go in the periodic table to take a look at what group it's in. Magnesium is in group 2, so that means it has 2 valence electrons. So we can go ahead and draw our 2 valence electrons like that. Let's try for argon. So Ar. Argon is a noble gas. So if it's a noble gas, we know it's in group 18, but we can double check just to make sure. So here we have Ar, argon, and that's in group 18, the last group there. So that means it has 8 valence electrons in its last shell. Be careful when you're drawing Lewis dot diagrams for helium. Remember, you look at group 18, you might think there's 8 valence electrons, but in reality there's just 2, because it does have a full shell, but its first shell is the full shell. So just be careful there. Argon, though, will have the 8. So let's go ahead and place those 8 valence electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 valence electrons for argon.